What's up, everyone? David Seven Skies here, broadcasting from the Musical Freedom Studio today. First time I ever broadcast from the Musical Freedom Studio. This is one of the 3 studios that are here at the Musical Freedom office. I don't work here. I work here sometimes. It's a long story. But yes, this is the studio that I always use. And probably right now you're seeing like a little video of how it looks. And yeah, today I am back with a little tutorial. Maybe not a crazy tutorial, although I think that there's a couple really good tricks here that you can sort of like steal. And this is something I always do. So this is like a very personal Seven Skies trick. And it's how to use LFO tool, not only with like sidechain stuff. I use LFO tool a lot for sidechain, but I think I actually use it even more for other stuff, which is sort of like to fight my laziness. So right now let's open the sessions, and right now I have a session that I've been working on. It's a collab with I can't tell you who, and there's a couple things here that I did with LFO tool. So for example, I got these stems, and I'm actually gonna turn off LFO tools. And the stem had this clap that also had other stuff in it, and it sounded okay, but in the mix there was a hi-hat that was super loud. So let me play the loop. So this hat right here, this one, it's super loud, and in the mix it creates a lot of problems. So I was left with a couple options. Option number 1 is you open a new channel, you cut this thing out, and then you duplicate the channel, and then you move that head over there, and then you create a loop that has that doesn't have this hi-hat there, and it's a long thing. Then obviously in the new channel where you put this hat, you lower the volume and you're good to go. But then the song was already done and I was mixing it. So that would have meant that I had to, just delete all the loops, delete stuff, and loop everything from scratch again. And it was annoying. So option number 2 is lower the volume right in the channel. But even then, what you can do is an enable tone is kind of easy. You go to your automation, you click A, and then what you can do is you drag this down however many dB you want to lower it, and then you find the right distance, and then you copy it. And as you can see, I messed up. So what you do is, whoops. You see, this is, I know it looks like an infomercial, but it's stuff that actually happens. So again, like you copy your thing and yada, 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 and then you copy it again. And I keep messing up the stuff because I have my microphone in front of me and all that stuff. And it's really annoying. It works, but it's kind of annoying. So option number 2 doesn't really work either. Not for me, at least. First time I also have a mic in front of me, and it's really annoying because I can't see the keys that I'm hitting. But anyway, you have a third option, and third option is you open LFO tool, and what you can do is you find exactly where in the bar. Loops are usually 1 bar long, sometimes 2 bar long, but this one, for example, was just 1 bar long. You find in the bar where the loud part is, and you simply notch it down. So right now it's turned off, but if I turn it back on, so let me loop it. So this is with LFO tool, and this is without. You can hear there's a big difference. And if that's still too loud, what you can do is you simply drag this part down And this is the easiest way to me and the quickest way to fix this kind of problem. And this is probably one of the ways that I use LFO tools the most. Like I said, I use it a lot for sidechain, but I use it a lot to control sounds. So how do you do that? Let me kill this LFO tool for a second. All right, so let's open a new LFO tool. First thing first, we want to make sure that this is set to bar. There you go. Then another thing that we have to do is sort of initialize this whole thing and make it flat. Now, there's one very quick way to do it, unless there's a preset that's called a flat preset, but there's a quicker way. If you hold Shift and drag the mouse across the whole display here, what you're going to get is a straight line that snaps to the grid. In this case, the grid is set to 8. So if I hold Shift and click, you'll see it creates this straight line. Now, if, like I said, we keep holding our Shift and drag the mouse across the whole thing, you see it creates a straight line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way up. So now this thing, we're sure that is just letting the whole volume, the whole sound through it without affecting it. And also we are already set to bar. So what we're gonna do is simply, we can hit this one. It's gonna show us the waveform. So we're just gonna play the loop. And we see that the loud hi-hat is this one. So what I'm going to do is hold Shift once again and click and simply drag it down. Now this is the LFO routing is affecting the volume at 100%, which means that if this is all the way down, it's going to be completely silent. Now, if this was set, for example, to 50%, this would mean that the volume of this would be 50% less. But we want to have it at 100% because I want to have full control in it. And once again, let's just play. And this took us 5 seconds. We don't have to duplicate any track. We don't have to mess with automation. We don't have to go delete stuff from the other part of the song to then just replace it with stuff that we changed. We don't have to do any of that. The only thing that I actually had to automate in this case, since the loop was slightly different, and there are a couple fills in the same track, what I had to do was actually automating it, because otherwise, for example, in this particular part of the song, this LFO tool would have affected the way that this fill sounded. Once again, I've been very lazy. I could have simply just moved that thing to a different track, and that would have made sense. That would have been easy. But I don't know, automating with live is so much, it's so easy that I was like, okay, I'll just, as you can see here, what I did was simply have LFO tool off until that loop came in, and as the loop comes in, LFO tool is on, and then I'm gonna turn it off again because I'm gonna have the same fill over here. Technically, I should turn it off here because that's another fill, but whatever. You get the point. And so this is actually how I use LFO tool. Now, I also use it to sculpt subs for my kicks, and let me play the kick and this sub. Now, you're probably gonna need a decent set of speakers, maybe with sub, or like a good set of speakers. This, you're not gonna hear this on a laptop. Actually, let me play the sine wave in solo first. So the way this is set up, I mean, it's not going to make that much sense right now because you can't hear the whole song. I'm not going to play this whole song because no. But the way this is set up, it's basically the first kick has no sound, and then there is a sound. The lead is coming on the second beat, which means there's a lot of space between the first kick and the second kick, and it kind of sounded a little empty. So what I did was like, okay, I'm gonna put a very long sine wave that's gonna make it feel like the sub on the kick is just very long. And then when the lead comes in and everything comes in, it's just going to be shorter. And once again, the way I did it was LFO tool number 1. This is, as you can see, very long after the offbeat. So this would be kick number 1 and kick number 2 would be here. So this would be the offbeat. So exactly the middle between one kick and the other one. So this leaves a lot of space between the kick and the sub. And then it has kind of a big tail. So that's the first kick that you hear. And then as you can see here, it gets bypassed. And then this one comes in, which has a fairly smaller tail. And it comes in a little quicker. So what happens is that the bass also comes in the second kick. And the bass is going to be around here. So this leaves much more room to the bass. And so that all the bass frequencies are not going to clash. But once again, as you can see here, actually, let me leave it open. I hate how the LFO tool just like goes from one screen to the other one. So this once again is used to shape the sound as opposed to simply just put a sidechain. Another thing that you can do now, this kick is actually pretty good and not actually already pretty short. But one trick that you can do, once again, actually what I can do is set it to 2. And then back to 8. This is just quicker for me to have that one out there. One other thing is usually when I work on a song and the kick is like a big kick and has a long tail, I have a shape kind of like this, so that I'm sure that by the offbeat, which is usually when the bass comes in, I'm sure that that the tail of the kick is pretty much gone, and that leaves room for the sub of the kick to cut through the mix. Because otherwise, if there's the tail of the kick that's still going, that will sort of like sum up with the sub frequencies of the sub, and that's going to create a giant mess. So usually that's what I use to shape my kick, and I kind of like try to keep like a shape like this, like a more natural sort of a shape. That's another trick that I use like sometimes when I'm doing intros, and I don't want to necessarily use a low cut on the kick. What I'll do is I'll have an LFO tool that just cuts the kick a little bit, so you still have the sub frequencies of the kick coming through, but the kick is just shorter and it just sounds tinier. And then when the drop comes in, I'll bypass it, and the full on kick is gonna show. Now I have this loop over here, just a super simple hi-hat loop. And once again, there is a hi-hat on the beat and a hi-hat on the offbeat. So let's say I only want to have the hi-hat on the offbeat. And so instead of cutting it, what you do again is lower the first part, which is where the on-beat hi-hat is, and then just have this one going through, which is where the other hi-hat is going to be, and this is how it's going to sound. And without. Super simple. It takes 2 seconds. Now, one very last example. I have this super famous loop. Actually, I'm already using LFO tools here, so and as you can see, I've done quite a bit of work. The first kick was kind of clashing with the whole song, so I killed it. Then there was too much drum stuff that was like kind of like bleeding through too much in the mix, and so I lowered it. And I kind of really just wanted to have the vocal shouts passing through, but this vocal shout is a male vocal shout, so it's a little bit lower in tone compared to the female vocal shout. So I let this male vocal shout all the way up, and then I lower the volume of the female vocal shout, so you get a more balanced result within the mix. Well, if this was all the way up, so it kind of sounds a little bit too loud. Another little bonus trick is if you hold both Shift and Alt, what you're gonna get is the line over here is gonna snap on the grid both vertically and horizontally. So this way it's very easy when you want to make sure that all the levels are balanced. So right now I know that all the part without the vocal is at this same volume until it hits the vocal, just because it's snapped to this horizontal line over here, as you can see. Okay, so this is it. Pretty simple and quick tutorial, hopefully useful. I know it's nothing crazy, no rocket science in this tutorial, but it's something that I've been using so much that I sort of thought that it would have been very useful to people. And especially, like, what's really important about this tutorial is that it makes things super quick. And if you know me, you know that one of the most important things I always say when making music is get to where you want to be faster. You should never lose time in performing some sort of like operation just to fix something that's gonna take out ideas. It's gonna make you frustrated. It's gonna make you be like, I don't want to work in this song anymore. I don't want to do this because it takes so long. So I'm all about sharing little tricks that are gonna help you produce music faster. So this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the stream from the studio. Very beautiful studio. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video. It's been a while since I've been around. Please let me know in the comment if you find this little trick useful, if you're gonna use it. But also let me know if you have a better trick. And as always, if you think that this video is useful, put a thumbs up. And for me, David, 7 Skies, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.